Hey folks, we're going to continue creating artwork for the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration supplement that we're making for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Give me a moment here to check my signal, make sure we're coming through. I'll go through my intro, and then we'll get to work here for a while. So, making a check here. Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check. 3. Mic check, mic check. 3. Yeah, sounds good enough. All right, cool. We'll go with it. Let's see. I'm going to be posting on the Reddit subchannel for Spelljammer, as well as on Twitter and on Discords. I'm going to be firing up my own Discord channel here for the Martial Powers playtesting and for folks to be able to have a closer conversation about the Spelljammer mechanics that we have here, as well as the 5-color mana spell point variant rules that we have created. So keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, hey, my name is Theurgy. I create role-playing game supplements. I publish them online. I illustrate them. I'm out of sequence already. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online. I've been focusing my attentions on Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition here for the past 5 years. There is a slew of work in the description down below that will take you to various books that I've already created. Plus, if you search for me on DMsGuild.com as an artist, you'll find probably about 100 different books that have used my stock art that you can check out. So if you're here for the artwork, just in the books I have linked down below, there's probably about 150 different illustrations. You can check that stuff out. If you open up, if you click open on a desktop, it'll say full preview underneath each book cover. And on mobile devices, there'll be an eye icon. If you click on either one of those, it'll throw open a PDF. You can look through the books and see all the artwork. And if you're here for D&D ideas, mechanics, I'm a DM that runs level 1 to 20 campaigns in about 200 to 250 hours, and then we start over again. So the books that I create are things that I needed to be able to run a particular campaign or various campaigns the way that I wanted to. So the mechanics that are in there are for use for DMs and players to sculpt their campaign around. Be welcome to check that stuff out. If you think it's cool, consider making a purchase to help support more shenanigans like that in the future. Let's see, I'm on Twitter, X platform. If you're a fan of Twitter X and you're still around, you can follow me at Theurgy. Best way to support the shenanigans like this, the stream, and future projects is to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications of when we are live in the future. We'd love to have you on board with me. We're here 6 days a week, and we release a video on Sundays. Total episodes of stuff that we do is probably around 12 a week. We're currently on episode 278 of this stream, and you can see the full playlist linked here in the description down below. This book cover here that we created was probably back around episode 15, so you can go check that out if you want to see this being created, as well as all the maps, the tokens, and the other assets that we include with production of the book. Here is the book. So when this book that we're creating here, Spelljammer Combat and Exploration, it is it translates ship combat into the 5e game mechanics that you already know. These ships move so fast, and the action economy we've cleaned up so that you can retain the 6-second round, so that you can freely remix your own character actions with actions that you can take as the ship or your team can use together as a group on your ship to be able to fire weapons, move the vessel, maneuver it during combat, and help each other, and weave it in with the other action economy that your character already has. Play multiple roles at the same time. As long as you're devoting action economy to whatever tasks needed, it doesn't matter what role you're playing, it's just the action that you need to perform. Which we've spent probably, I think, around episode 120. I think we did a deep dive on that. But that's coming again soon. We'll do another tear out video about that. So we create these ideas, we play test them. If they work out, we'll wordsmith them, then hire an editor to make sure that the words are good. Once that's all taken care of, I use Microsoft Word for my layout program. It's cheap and easy to use, and you can too if you're interested. Very easy to use. And once we break up all the ideas into digestible chunks of information on each page, it leaves open all these gaps that we can then fill with illustrations. So we'll extract this as a separate PDF document that we can then import here into Photoshop, and then we illustrate it. And when we're done illustrating, we extract each of these pieces. We drop them here back into the Word document. We'll fuse it all together into a PDF. We'll publish on DMsGuild, and you'll be able to check out the free preview. We've made about 80 tokens so far for different ships at the 5-foot, 50-foot, 500-foot scale for ranged combats. We have all the tokens of NPCs and creatures that you need for Lydas Araxis. We did all the maps and star system maps that you need for Lydas Araxis. And we also provided the last thing that you need is and then all the other creatures like from Boo's Menagerie and stuff that you can make kaiju size to fight with in ships. We have all those tokens, probably about 80 some odd of them that are going to be in a zip file that'll be included with the book if you decide to purchase it. So thanks for all the support out there for folks that are taking interest in this, to the Reddit community, the Discord channels, and for people on Twitter that are interested in seeing where this goes. I am thrilled to have this thing finished, hopefully in January. And let's see what else to say. I'm here. I'm here Monday through Friday, doing artwork like this in the morning. Let's see where we at right now. I want to start working on, here's reference. I want to start adding color into these characters. Let's go find, maybe we'll do, what do we want to do? Let's go find a reference. War Cleric. Let's do that. Dunk, 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 dunk. Oh, I like that setup. That one looks good. Let's copy the image so I can color reference it. Normac and Silverkin. Subclass special. Images may be copyright. Who made this? Do we have any information about who made this? The Piezo piece. Nice. Sorry, not sure who to credit this to as an artist, but we're here for the references. So I don't see color, so the best way for me to paint in color is to focus on contrast and like the light and dark values and how they interact with the piece. Let's see. Let's go with another one. Let's go with Paladin of Vengeance. I'll find some images here. So I'll show you that process here in a moment. I just want to find something that's going to have decent contrast here. What can we use? What's got good color? Dum 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 dum. What are you all about? No, I don't want to watch a fucking commercial. Get out of here. Perfect. There. These should be decent for us to use. So we'll scoot these up and out of the way for the time being. We'll grab that. There we go. All right, these should be decent color references for us to use. So we'll sketch up the reference box here. We're not worrying about the perspective in the background yet. Those are sufficient enough for now. Let's actually splash in some color backdrop. Drop those down. There we go. 100%. There we go. Something like that. Probably what we're going to end up with. So this is Friday. God, welcome to it. I'm here in Seattle. It's about 6:45 here in the morning. We'll be at work here for another 70 some odd minutes. But more importantly, in about what is it? 6:45 here. In about probably in about five and a half hours, which will be 12:15 Seattle time on the West Coast, USA. I anticipate being on stream, my lunchtime stream. I have a so Monday through Friday I'm here doing artwork like this in the mornings. On Monday and Thursdays, like last night, I am creating creature token art and maps for an Eberron adventure that'll also publish on DMsGuild. So we do that on Monday and Thursday nights. On lunch times, typically on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, like today, we work on the martial powers system for alternate magical, like non-spellcasting for martial characters, so that they have a variety of options, similar as spellcasters do, to have as much varied gameplay and action loop sequencing as you please to customize your character to help the team more, much like how casters can select spells to supplement and augment what they're capable of doing daily. So too do we provide for martial characters to have a variety of options so that they can be dynamic and adapt to the adventures that the DM creates. So we do that Monday, Tuesday, and Friday at lunch, typically for about like maybe an hour and a half. And then on Saturday is either commissions or personal projects. And so I just finished the most recent commission about 3 weeks ago. So you can check out my Saturday morning arts, my art, the art commission stream that I run. Thank you. So you can check stuff out there if you're interested. But since that project is done, I shan't be taking on any more commissions until probably March. But on Saturday mornings from here forward, to support the Martial Powers project, I am going to run a playtest starting at level 3, and we're going to do a hex crawl style campaign for the Ravnica setting, and we're going to start constructing that playtest on Saturday. Just basically putting on my DM hat. And like I said, as a DM, I run campaigns from level 1 to 20 in about 200 hours. I'm on this is my 4th one right now that I'm playing. My home table's at 20th level right now on the 4th campaign from level 1 to 20 since I started playing 5th edition back in, I want to say 2000. No, 2010, maybe 2015. I don't remember when I started playing 5th edition. I left. I stopped playing 5th edition during 4th edition. I was in my 30s, and that was my career time. So I only had the ability to play D&D once a week, and that was at a local game shop. And it was either We were either playing 3rd edition or we were playing 4th edition Gamma World, and then time took that shop away. So then I got back into running games online, and instead of embracing 4th or 5th edition or Pathfinder, I got into the Cypher system to play Eberron campaign setting as a Numenera campaign, and that was loads of fun. But after a year, we decided that 5th edition seemed pretty cool, so we started doing that. And when the Ravnica box set, the Ravnica book came out, Guild Master Guide to Ravnica, that was when I realized that there's not going to be any color mana systems, like, ever. And it was going to be up to me if I wanted to make that happen. So I have a slew of books down below for color mana that you can check out at no cost. If you want to buy them, that's awesome. But they're there for you. Hey, Mock, how you doing, my guy? See, I'm a big Magic the Gathering enthusiast. Very, very big enthusiast of it. And I love MTG as a base for campaigns for playing D&D. And the color magic system is so descriptive. It's literally colors. White, blue, black, red, green are like the 5 colors of magic. So if you have a magical effect, it's going to fall into that fold, which as a DM I love because it gives me literally a color palette for me to explain the effects that characters that the characters see, and the kind of creatures that they fight. Super, super cool. And until this Spelljammer book, I would say that was my greatest accomplishment in creating role-playing games. But I think this is better. Well, it's not better. It's just, I think this has, I'll say this is better because I think there's more people interested in Spelljammer than they are in Magic the Gathering. That may change eventually, but I think I'm helping more campaigns with Spelljammer than I am with Color Magic. I think the Martial Powers book, though, I think that'll be something that is also universally useful to people, whether you're using Color Magic or not. That feels pretty good. Let's just do that. And then we'll go into here. I'm fucking around with perspective right now. That's what we're doing. For those that are playing along at home. True transform. Distort. So yeah, right now I'm just fucking with perspective. It's good enough for now. It's not perfect, but it'll work. It does what I need it to do for the time being. Let's do that. Where are we at? There. Use our atmospheric perspective to fade out that stairway in the back there and to decrease the importance of the back railing. Let's see here. I can fade this down a little bit more as well, just to drop it down so it doesn't have such a hard signature across the characters. This railing back here. This is all good. So this is good space. So I don't see color, right? For those that don't know, monochromatism is a lack of cones in the eye. So my eyes are simply ill-equipped to see color. There's a little bit more information about monochromatism down here if you want to check it out. But the quick skinny of it is, instead, since I don't have any cones, I'm on night vision all the time, which is why I'm squinty. Cones also control resolution, kind of like a camera zoom. I don't have that function in my hardware. So if I want to zoom in on something, I literally have to bring my face closer to it. So that's my zoom function, which means I can't drive. because by the time I can read a road sign, it's already parallel to the car. If I can even read it at that range, it's gone. Since my eye is shaped the right size, or the right shape, it's not that glasses don't help. Although readers help me zoom in to look at pages more, so those are useful. But the cones also, of course, control color. When you have zero color, you're just using black and white. So like if you look at like I think it was the Lone Ranger remake that had Johnny Depp in it. I think they had a black and white spot inside of that movie. I think there's also a Wes Anderson movie about cowboys. I think that had a black and white sequence. But if you look at modern day black and white footage, like it's really crisp and clean. But there's just literally all the colors taken out. Like old films, I can tell they're black and white because they're washed out, and they just didn't have color capability in the TV screens yet. So obviously the film is washed out. But modern film is so crisp, I can't tell. I literally can't tell the difference. Sometimes when I'm in the physical space with something with the color, sometimes I can kind of catch a bit of a heat signature off of it, like reds, oranges, and yellows can sometimes like have a little bit of like an infrared pop to them that I pick up on, but that's not guaranteed and it's not reliable. So when I want to paint in color, I'm working strictly with contrast. So that's why I spent time talking about like the striation effect, like light background, dark post, lighter color cannon, dark railing, light base. And then the railing here will be darker, and then it'll fade into the lights. And then back here, we're going to have a light source here to dark, to light, to dark, same sequencing. The motif that we've picked for the coloration here is going to have a mix of light. This is a piezo cleric. I don't know who the artist is, so I can't give credits, but great artwork. And this is just a screenshot from Baldur's Gate 3. So I figured the soldier here can use can grab blends off of here, and then this war cleric we can grab color off of here. So the dark armor should be a good contrast to the radiant effect that's probably what we need to do. So let's get an energy effect going, which we get off of this sword here. I can see here on the RGB that this is a sharp, pale, like a very washed out yellow, because it's got the red and the green are maxed, and the blue drops back. That's the pattern that you would have for yellow. So I'm pretty good with that. I think we're going to use that, and that should probably actually offer some good contrast, because if we go through here, we got a lot of like barely off purple and a little bit of green. So you can see here that the green is a little higher than the R and the B, but here the R and the B are a little bit further forward than green. By mirroring and flipping on your axis here, how like from here to here to here to here, like you see how it's like bouncing back and forth like that. In the color scale, the RGB, that means that those are complementary. And I know that purple and green are roughly complementary on a color wheel. So the RGB scale, if I flip colors around, I can make it work. So that's basically how I frame that stuff. So let's take this ball lightning here. That's my background. So let's seal the ship up for now. Here's our bases for the weapons. Ship, gunners. Let's open up the gunners. We have front gunner, back gunner, here, there. So I can use this as a light source to cast out from, to be able to create highlights for the cleric. don't know. I haven't found any other artists that are colorblind that are talking about color theory this way. Is a long shot, but if anyone catching this signal, if they know a colorblind artist that is facing the difficulties and frustration that I had experienced when I was younger, about how am I supposed to compete as an artist in a world that sees color when I see none. Problems have solutions, my friend. So if you know anyone that is facing that very unusual, very first world trouble, I am here to help. Send them my way. I would love to talk to them, help them through it, get them trained up so that they can feel confident in their skills and not have to worry about what they can and can't see. Beethoven was deaf, but he knew music theory. So he knew how to sculpt cool music even though he himself couldn't enjoy it. I am the same. I am your Beethoven. I am Beethoven of art. And maybe someday I'll be skilled enough to earn that title. But for now, I'm just... If I don't show up and do artwork online and talk about it, I don't know if anyone ever will. So it's the only... As far as I can tell, it's the only opportunity for anyone else that's colorblind out there and frustrated to catch some sort of signal that this is something you can actually do. And we'll just keep stacking up layers to flesh that out. But I'm happy with that. See, that should have some good pop there. Which is going to afford me the opportunity to drop down here. Good. And then we can stitch that up. We'll get back to the weapon eventually. But for now... Let's get her separated. Go with Cleric. See if I'm doing this right. Sometimes it takes a little time to peel apart layers like this, so thank you for your patience as I go through this process. Base. There's my Cleric. I'll call this Eldritch. Organizing your layers is as important as composition. That should be Eldritch. There. This is now unnecessary. That looks pretty good. Break this up. Here's the character. That is there, and what is you? Oh, that's just slop. What's up? Let me toss this down here to trash. Let's see. Fair. There's that. Let's go with Flinger. It's also trash, so let's get rid of that. So here we are looking at the Flinger. Stitch that up. Here's our coloring for the Flinger. Where is my dude? Go with Fighter. How's my Eldritch stacking up? Good. Okay, so here's the coloration for the Flinger. Here's the cannon. Here's line art for the cannon. Here's the Flinger. Here's line art. Here's color for the Eldritch cannon. Line art. Three. So we can ungroup that layer. That gives us our Flinger back and our Eldritch back. Flinger, Eldritch, ship, rail, background, and then trash at the butt. Let's get rid of. And then we can stitch up our page dressing. That's locked down and good. Okay, good. That took a little while to organize, but it was necessary for us to be able to take our next steps. Cannon, line art, Flinger, line art. Let's call it gun. No, cannon. We'll call that cannon also. Cannon has line art and just making sure they're all parallel so I don't get lost in the patterning. Okay, we're on point. So line. I'm starting off with the brightest contrast, and then we're going to overlay it with darker colors. I really like how this line art turned out. I'm very pleased with that. If you check my Eberron stream that we do on Mondays and Thursdays, including yesterday, you'll see me going through the sketch phase into higher detail in these different monster tokens that I'm creating for the game that I've been building, which is different from this. It's a Battle the Undead soldier campaign where your characters are there's 6 different plot lines with different goals and resources that are provided to you depending on what your adventure, depending on what specific adventure you want to run inside of the play kit. But the default is that you're deputized by a sheriff that is overwhelmed with after-war fallout duties, that the nation has been overrun with monsters and enemies potentially war criminals that are hiding throughout the nation. So you get deputized to help answer calls for help and to explore low priority complaints while the sheriff is off, fighting dinosaur riding halflings or whatever. So when you get deputized and you go check out these complaints in this community, you find out that there's undead coming from the forest, which leads you to a necromancy biotech lab, basically, that's creating undead that you then have to basically put the kibosh on. So we have to create all the tokens. We made all the maps, and we're currently making all the tokens for the creatures that the characters, the players will battle during the adventure. That'll be fun. Cool. I like this setup. So this for, I guess, lack of a better word, this I guess is a tarpon or like a sleeveless jacket, almost like a robe. I think we'll stick with this color, and then we can get into this darker armor here. We can lay that over. The arms. This is all going to get highlighted by this yellow radiance inside of the cannon. So I can have this dark armor and use its metallic properties. The material is reflective, right? So I can use the metallic reflective nature to push some of this yellow onto the character. Right now we're just going for a very minimal base. Base! How low can you go? Yeah, feels good. Feels right. Let's do that. This should be a decent mid-tone. Hey, Timely Timer. Thank you for keeping time. Nice. Good mid-tone. What is that? A dirty blonde. Okay, I think we're gonna have an interesting comment here because this is the hair color that we're using, and here's the sky around it. See there's a radical color difference between the hair and the sky. Color theory here. Radical difference between the sky and the hair color up here. But look at the difference in gray tone. They're almost identical. So for me, with my eyes, this is a bad contrast. If I was trying to de-emphasize this shape and have this fade into the same silhouette so that this whole area didn't pop out in composition, I could be content with that, and you would still get the color information to see the dichotomy between the character and the environment around it. But I do not, and I can't build my compositions based on what you can see. I need to build my compositions based on what I can see. So this means that now that I'm actually happy with this character, the mid, light, dark, mid, right? Mid, light, dark, mid, dark, fade. So it has a nice pop to it. Mid, light, mid, dark. See, it bounces from light to dark, light to dark, light to dark. It has that striation effect where it's taking steps from like bands. That's how I like to build my compositions. So I'm going to steal some sky from back here as well and layer in a darker sky. I'll be able to have this this yellow highlight here brighten the mast here, and then there's a lot of contrast from the Astral Sea splash back here. I'm gonna ramp up my smudge, push this stuff in, and again, this is a dichotomy here. Like we're destroying the dichotomy between this post and this sky effect back here. So what we can do is we'll end up adding this stripe for what the cannon is doing. Akin to this. And then I can texture it. I can put it in a wood texture, or just build one. It's more likely. Fade that down a bit to knock it off of its intensity. Take that back. There you go. All right, so there, that sets up our dichotomy for the ship. Here's our post. Here's the lighting for the post. There. Now we can push back into this like that. Now we have a heavy dichotomy, and that's going to end up working out really nicely. I'm going to drop the strength of my smudge here so it blends instead of pushes. Push that a little bit, up that a bit, push this darker into here. That feels pretty good. See, now we got a really good dark, light, mid, dark, light. There. So we have that stepping effect. Up. So all the elements remain separated from, like, have a good definition from each other. The armor here is fading into the background, but again, we're going to be able to use reflective light to create sheen. Because it's metal, it'll have a reflective property. You'll be able to make that pop out. So only for now is it fading poorly. Like what is this? That's the base. That's my armor. Here I can then drop. Yellow. See, just add in little reflections here. It makes it pop out. Against the backdrop. Just like that. And it's still rough, but that's the gist. That's how the color works. See, now we can clearly see the armor separating from the background, and that there should be some good color contrast for you to be able to absorb as well. So you got dark gray. Burp. It's got a good blue going on here, right? There we go. Like that-ish. I will end up putting like yellow highlights here on her face as well. Fade it in a bit, still have it pop in the highlight. I'm liking that. So that sits pretty for the moment. We also need to suss out this purplage we got going on in here. Curve right. That. Good. We'll leave that like that. So far, so good. Pause and reflect. Absorb the scene. Keep moving forward. Yeah. All right, so that's coming along nicely. And we'll just keep detailing that as we go along. And we don't have to be too intense about the detail because it's just basically a quarter-page illustration, right? So detail doesn't have to be insane. It just has to be good. And it's going to end up being good enough. So sometimes good enough is good enough. Let's see. What do I want to do next? Let's see. The cannon. She's good for the moment. Let's float over to here. How do I want to do this? Let's look up crossbow. Nah, that's a techie fucking crossbow. Not specifically what I wanted. Let's go to images. It's not bad. That might be decent. Oh, maybe this is a good one. Yeah, I don't think so, pal. Of course, I can't tell what color it is until I extract it. So, and since Amazon's a bitch, Google's a bitch, I have to actually extract it for me to be able to look at the color palette. So, let's see if this one's decent or not. Gray, very gray. Gray all day, all the way. That's a greenish look. I'm not hating on that. I can use that for the tips, just the tips. I think that's a good start. Let's peel open our references file here, and let's grab this crossbow and drop it up here into the reference stash. Bring that to there. We can bring this guy around over here to be helpful for the cleric. And we can leave that there. Nah, that's good positioning. Let's go find something else. Let's find a different picture. Wooden. Ain't so bad. Nice. How's this one sitting? It's got a bluishness to it. It's got that metal feel. I think I'm okay with this. Let's go with that. I hear you, Timely Timer. Thank you for keeping time. So, okay, so I got 20 minutes left. Cool. We'll get the coloration. We'll get these flats done, and we can start in on the detail. The background composition is good enough that I don't have to mess around with the background until I'm done with the foreground. Once I get these characters done, I have them detailed to the level that I like. That will set the maximum amount of detail in the composition. And then I can just reduce as we move further away from the central figures in the composition to less and less detail to have it just kind of fade away as less important. Harpoons. Dark here. I'm considering this railing here is what I'm doing right now. I like the idea of there being holes here so that you can see more of the skyscape through there. Oh, itchy hair. But I'm not a fan of the open frame here because it provides less cover for your characters. But it's technically not my problem right now. I'm just thinking about it because I'm down here looking through. But, we'll get to it. Let's do that. Let's go find some metal. Metal. Oh no, it's all on fire. So where's all the metal bits? I can use the same metal over here for this basin, I guess, for lack of a better word, that this thing is sitting inside of. Let's do that. Metal. I'll do a metal frame around here, coupling. We'll do that. Can I get away with... Oh, looks like you're a bent metal, springy metal, huh? Yeah, no, I don't think that really jives. I think I need a greenishness. Oh, that seems really like a mellowing idea there. Let's do that. We'll create a new layer here. Basically like that. I'm going to thin that down a touch. Like that. There we go. cut it down. It should still be a yep. Well, it's a yellowish, greenish sort of look. I think I'm pretty good with that. That feels good. And so that is the flinger. Now let's work on the fighter. Mid, dark, light, mid, dark, mid, dark. Good. Good dichotomy. I'm happy with that. Let's go to Safe Fighter. We'll make him line art here. Ma-da-da-da. And then, yeah, all the color. Green, huh? Interesting. Sharp red. Blue-green sort of look to it. I think I might be okay with that. Blue-green sort of look over here. Fades into green. It's because it's pushing towards red. That's what I see. It's trying to push into that green space. Alright, I think I might be okay with that. Let's see if I like that dichotomy. What's up? Only see some of that text. Well, you know, when you're colorblind, I don't really have the option, right? I had to be creative to figure it out. Until the way it goes is that I was starting to get pretty damn good. I was getting jobs back in early 2000s because print on demand was still black and white. So there was a lot of ink and pencil shape, like pencil sketching and like charcoal artwork gigs available online from the new what is it? There's no dichotomy here at all. So actually, that's purpley and that's a greenish. I almost feel like I should switch that. Get that purpley over this green. Yeah, so I didn't. So as the industry, this is also when broadband started to become a thing available in other countries. So as that happened, I was now competing for art gigs online with artists that have a third or a fifth of my income, household income needed to live. Because this is before Singapore really took off. Like Eastern Europe, Middle East, there's a lot of countries where they had just as good technology, but a far lower cost of living. So I couldn't compete. So I was lamenting this reality to friends, and one of them just was like, why don't you just try to figure out how to paint in color and see how it goes? I'm like, I have no idea how I'm supposed to be able to paint in color. Like, I have no clue. He's like, I don't know, man, just figure it out. And then that's when the challenge officially got started. That's like the official challenge. I don't know, man, why don't you figure it out? And that became basically a theme a theme in my life of just figuring figure out how to do it. Figure out how to paint in color. Figure out how to do the Spelljammer space mechanics using the Dungeons and Dragons rules as written. Like, pick this up, pick up the player's handbook. They both make the same sense. It's just good to play. How to make color magic using the Magic the Gathering system in Dungeons and Dragons. There is no color mana. There is no mana. There's just spell points. Or there's just spell slots that you spend a spell slot to cast a spell. That's basically it. Well, I needed to add that level of complexity. Like everything that I build and create and paint is a series of, I don't know how to do this. Let's figure out how to do it. And this is the process of me figuring it out. So, cheers. Glad it's interesting. I fucking love it. I'm gonna actually increase the size of this guy. Just a touch. Yeah, that feels good. Cool. So there's the color. I got that purpley thing going on. And actually now the blue and the green highlights off that armor should actually feel a lot better now. That's sharp, but again, we can drop it down like this to fade it in, and then use the sharpness of that highlight when we need to. We'll leave it full. We'll leave it full till actually. Yeah, Mock, glad you're enjoying. But you're here for the artwork in the first place, right? Like yeah, that's right. You don't have, you aren't familiar with gaming. You are more familiar with art. So I'm sure some of this stuff is interesting for you to listen to. Relevance may be questionable, but see, I'm lacking this dichotomy over here now, so I'm going to have to do something about that. And there's enough dichotomy here in the armor and the frame that I should be okay there. I can just fill this in. I'm going to want to use this plate up here. I'm going to use the same color down here, so I'm going to do that now while I'm working on, while I'm thinking about it. Thank you. Whoopee. Let's do it like that. There we go. There, paint over it like that. Yeah, that feels right. You can get rid of that one. Good. Now I can lock that back down, go back to our fighter. There, now I've got better armor contrast like I wanted. There we go. Ah, my face, so itchy. I need to get my dead ends cut. They're itching on my face. It's gonna go with very basic blocking for now. Very simple color palette. He's got a certain derpiness to him, doesn't he? I'm okay with it. You be derpy, buddy. You be your best derp. You be your best derp. Let's go with this redliness. Really dark over here. Very good. Like that. Dropping some of the color over here. Feels about right. I think we can do this. That should work. All right, so there's that. How do I want to do this skin color? I'm gonna go with this lighter blonde. I know that. That's now I have that same dichotomy issue with the Astral Sea behind being a very similar. See, very, very similar in grayscale. There's probably enough dichotomy pop there that it stands out easily for you because of the color differential. But that is not enough contrast for me to be able to appreciate the composition. So I'm going to have to continue colorizing the background, which is great. That's honestly probably something we need to / want to do. Uh-oh. 7:52. I've only got mere moments left in my day. So let's see if I can grab a color reference over here. Good. He doesn't have a lot of skin showing, neither does she, so. Do we want to do that? No. What I think I'm feeling here is good old-fashioned Dro. So let's go with Dro Warrior. That is a good piece to use. What's this color? Sharp blue. I think that's gonna work. There's, I think there's some sort of like a hard light wash happening here that's causing him to gray out a lot. So let's go for the hands over here. I like this composition though. there's that, and then yeah, take some of the purpliness out of it. Actually, I kind of want to keep that purpley in. What happens if I do this? Just a little off red. That feels pretty good. Good dichotomy there. I might actually be able to make that hair work. If I bleed out, I like this edge bleeding into here. I like taking away this edge, right? This border and having it blend into the sky. That's just something that we do in this document in general. So I like maintaining that. Let's conceal the reference layer so we're left with what's actually here. That's not bad. I think that's gonna work. Okay, great. So we'll leave this as our initial dichotomy. I can add some of this railing color here at this edge between his armor and the backdrop, so that I can create I can create the dichotomy there by having the railing color break the astral sea railing armor highlights. So it'll be light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, edge of page. So maintaining that pop, 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 that laddering, that striation, that dichotomy and striation. So I'm happy with those. Those are good. So that's our that's our color blocking in for now. When we come back on Monday, I probably won't be working on this over the weekend. I'll probably just leave this piece be, and we'll just get it done. We'll get it done. So this will be done next week, and then we'll start in on the next piece. After this, we only have 3 more combat pictures. We have 2 ship illustrations. Well, we got we got 2 ship illustrations and a combat scene on ships to do. That combat scene is actually smaller than this piece with a lot more action going on. We'll see if I can accomplish that or not. And if it's an utter failure, we'll swap it out for something else. And then after those 3 ship combat pieces are finished, we have 5 environments to do. We have a couple planets we have to paint. We have a mountain range. There's a random world generator in the first appendix. So we have illustrations of the type of worlds and environments and terrain that we can random up by throwing dice as a meat space random number generator, rolling dice. So we'll get to that once those are done. Environments typically take me anywhere from like 3 to 10 hours. So we should be able to clean those up pretty quickly. I can actually probably do some of them offline because they're not that impressive. They're just environments. So I'll push those forward. We still have 6 more diagrams that we need to finish in the combat section for squadron and fleet combat maneuvering and just I'll show it all to you guys when it's done. Obviously, it'll be in the book. But then after that, after we get these illustrations done and those diagrams done, the only thing that we actually have left is structuring and doing and adding in the token images for the Light as Araxis adventure conversion that we include with this book in our second appendix. It's a 106-page book, and the second appendix is 25 pages. So 80 pages of tech, and then the back 25 pages is an adventure where you can use this text as a showcase example of how these mechanics can be used to, I guess, quote-unquote, fix or embellish the Spelljammer adventure that Wizards of the Coast created and provided with their Spelljammer rule books. And so there's a lot of opportunity there for us to basically use that as our mirror to show how these mechanics can make the Spelljammer game more fun. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm going to bounce. I'm actually going to be back in about it's just about 8 o'clock here, so I'm going to be back probably in 4 hours at noon here in Seattle to work on the Martial Powers Project, which is the new martial class, like for fighters, barbarians, rangers, paladins, rogues, monks. It's the alternate magic system that we're building for those type of characters to have the same breadth of options as wizards and clerics with their spell books and prayers. so that all 13 character types in the D&D game have the same breadth of options and being able to express their characters. So we're continuing to develop that system here on Friday. Tomorrow, in about 26 hours, in about 26 hours, a little like 25 and a half hours, 9:30 a.m. tomorrow, we'll be back and we're going to start building an adventure for the Martial Powers playtest for characters level 3 to 7 out of 20. So it'll be a low-end adventure, but it's an opportunity for us to test out some of the tech at the low end to make sure that it runs smoothly for folks. So, well, hi. Sorry for you to show up right as I'm doing my exit, but Drake, well met, my guy. I'll be, like I said, I'll be back in about 4 hours to work on the game mechanics that we're developing for 5e. I do this every day, Monday through Friday. Tomorrow morning, I'll be building basically a hex crawl campaign for Dungeons and Dragons, so you guys can tag along on that. I'll be back on Monday to do more of this, more Martial Powers at lunch, and then Eberron creature creation, tokens and maps Monday night. And I just did Eberron tokens last night, so you can check my channel feed to see the stuff that I created. Let's get rid of this. So you can check out my feed here. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I stream 12 times a week. And then I post something on Sunday as a tear out, so you guys can check that stuff out. So, hello, goodbye. Thanks for time with you guys. I will see you in about 4-ish hours. Later.